Meeting to order. Council Byrd, would you do the invocation, please?
Father, we thank you for the opportunity to serve our people. We just give you all the praise, and we just thank you for the people we have here and the leadership of our tribe and guide and lead us, and we thank you for the veterans who makes it possible for us to have the freedom to worship and take care of our government. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Roll call, Shelley. Here.
Here.
Honey.
Charlie Buzzard. Joe Bird.
Honey.
Tom Crittenden.
Honey.
Mike Dobbins.
Here.
Shannon Duncan.
Honey.
Wanda Hatfield.
Honey.
Rex Jordan. Dick Lay.
Honey.
Mike Shambaugh. Mary Bakershaw.
Ani.
E.S. Smith.
Here.
Troy Husted. David Walkenstick.
Honey.
Brian Warner.
Honey.
We have a quorum.
Okay. I need an approval of December 17 minutes.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the minutes from December 17th. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Seeing none, we'll move down to our report. Sean Slayton's here. I'm sure he's got good news for us.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Hello?
A little bit on the financial side. December was a great month. It actually pulled us ahead up close to budget, if not over a little bit. And I think we're actually about $4 million over than what we thought we were from last year. So, again, congratulations to our hardworking folks. Our gaming's holding steady despite all the competition that's in capital investment that's been in the market in the last 6 months to a year and a half. Appreciate their hard work, and then our diversified businesses are really starting to contribute. So happy for that. I want to thank those that were able to come yesterday to our pre-party, if you will, our pre-opening of Track 5 and our new gaming venue up there. It's beautiful. I think everybody that went was impressed with how it was decorated and how it looked, and we're really hopeful that it's well received by the community. Tomorrow night is our official opening of that. It'll be sort of a soft opening, but our headliner is Tanya Tucker, and looking forward to getting the message out there and getting the people in and showcasing that place. It is beautiful. The only thing, and I need to congratulate the management team and the construction team and architects on what they did on the interior. We're putting the final touches on it as we speak today, and probably right up to opening tomorrow night. But the exterior, we just painted and tried to make it look good. We're getting ready to undergo on the whole facility a complete new facelift for Hard Rock. It's been 15 years for some and 10 years for the other on the exterior, and it's time to make some changes there. Our Tahlequah facility, Nukes, is opening on Monday, and I'm excited to bring that to Tahlequah and hope that it's well received. It's like a McAllister's Deli, and I've eaten there several times. The food's delicious, and it's kind of a different deal. So I encourage everybody, if they're hungry and want to try it out, to give it a shot. We're on track there to open the casino May 1st, and then the Bassmaster Fishing Tournament weigh-in will be held there outside on May 15th and I think through the 17th. Other than that, we're working with the architects in Flint Co. to get the preliminary drawings done on the med school. That's progressing, and we're working with Childers to develop the plans for the man-killer clinic over there, that new addition. And I think that concludes my report, and I'll be happy to try to answer any questions.
Mr. Vasquez?
Yes, I have a comment and a question. It is indeed beautiful. I was glad to get a tour yesterday, and the poker area is amazing. Very
Thank
nice.
you.
I have a question about tomorrow night. If you come in from the interior second floor, where will the entrance be to Track 5? Because yesterday was just curtains, and so I'm thinking it's just curtains.
Well, that will depend on how far they get. They were still buttoning up the construction there. Safety is the issue, and
Maybe I should ask
at some point there will be 2 areas to access that.
where would be the best place to enter
Tomorrow,
night?
I'd say go to the place where we met, the replay bar,
Okay.
and there'll be people there to assist you on that.
It was very impressive, and thank you.
Thank you. Hats off to the people.
Sean, you mentioned Stillwell, the Wilma P. Still in the
Drawing stage,
drawing
yes, sir.
stages. What's the expectation there, the latest? To get that done.
The drawings, I think they're trying to get done within the next month.
How about the construction?
That, I don't know what the timing is on being able to get the bid packages out, but it's soon. As soon as we can get it, it's when it'll go out.
Soon.
Everybody's double timing that, yeah.
Soon, like, what's an estimate, like if you were reporting to someone more important than me, what does soon mean?
Soon means soon. I hate to throw a date out there that I don't know, because I'd be guessing. But I know by summer, we hope to have the bid packages out. The demo started. That's got to be first. Excuse me, I've been fighting a cold. I think that demo package may already be, I know it's done, or close to done, and maybe out on the street. So at some point here in the near, apologize. At some point in the near future, I think you'll start to see some action there.
Can you elaborate? I had someone call me the other day about the business thing where the C&B are working with some doctors, getting some doctors together to do some sort of business. Can you elaborate kind of on that?
Sure. Thank you, Chairman. Our diversified businesses, a lot of those contracts that we win with the federal government are to staff different Navy hospitals, DOD facilities, and things like that with doctors and nurses and techs and things like that. And that's what those refer to.
Okay, my constituent, and I talked to Mr. Garrett, had a pretty good talk there, and he assured me the constituent was concerned that if we're rounding up doctors to do that, we're trying to recruit doctors here.
Yeah.
But he assured me that wouldn't.
No, and we're actually going to try to help with that if we're asked. So we've got a lot of contacts all over the United States.
I'm gonna ask you myself if that matters.
Yeah.
Help with that, and
I hear you. We'll.
And their concern was, and Mr. Garrett,
Yeah.
he assured me that for sure, no doctors that we had would be pulled out somewhere else. But,
No, that's not. That wouldn't be the case. It's a different business, different model, different group.
It's going to make us some money. That's a good deal, and that was a legitimate concern,
Sure.
by the way,
Yeah.
from my constituent there.
Well, I hope you relay that that's not going to happen.
I did.
Relay
And,
that concern.
there's, but yeah, any recruiting help we can get, I'm sure everybody here would appreciate that if it helps fill.
Sean, go ahead and expand on the specific medical recruiting that you're doing in the postcards that were mailed out.
Oh.
Can you?
Yeah. Thank you. I mentioned it before, and I actually meant to have Molly come do the presentation today, and I forgot to ask her till it was too late. But excuse me, it's not just for medical positions. What we've done is we've undertaken a campaign to try to find and locate Cherokee people across the United States You know, historically, we've relied on them to contact us, look at the website, see a job, yada, yada, yada. Apply that way. And you know, we've had a lot of success with that. But with the job market tight all across the company, new opportunities all across the United States with our diversified businesses for all kinds of job opportunities, from blue collar to, you know, the professional licensed positions. We would like to take our message to them that if they're out there and interested, to register their interest and what they're interested in with us, excuse me, so we can recruit them. We can look through our database when we have a job and say, okay, so-and-so in California, for instance, has these skill sets. We have a job through our Diversified that's posted out there. Let's contact them and see if it works. So part of that was to get that message out to as many people as we can.
Doctors included?
Any Cherokee that was on that mailing list. It's the magazine mailing list is what I've been told. And so I'm happy to report that we've had right at 286, I believe, responses to that from Cherokee people that have registered their interest. We reach out to each one of those saying, hey, we got your deal, we're putting you in our database, we'll keep you in mind. We encourage you to keep watching the job board, and if you see something that you're interested in, let us know. Let us take a look at that. One of those areas, I hope everybody has received one. If you hadn't, let me know. I know the list may or may not have everybody on it, but it lists the professions that we're looking for. And one of those was healthcare, because we knew the clinic was coming up, and we actually had a nurse from St. Francis reach out to us that had a lot of management experience. We referred them to Brian, and Brian referred it to someone there, and they reached out to us and said they would like to contact this individual. And I haven't followed up to see if they did, but it would have been a home run for the nation if they could work something out with them, in my opinion.
Thank you.
So anyway,
Thank you for sharing.
we're trying to recruit for everybody.
Thank you.
You good?
Thank you.
Counselor Lay?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Sean, I've got a couple of questions, but one of them is I sent you an email about what may or may not be, I don't know, a payroll violation of employment.
Yes, sir.
And I know you can't answer me here, but do you have any?
I can partially. If I may, just before I got in here, I'd asked for a deal before 3 o'clock, so in case it came up, I could answer. And I need to get with you offline to get some more specifics, but there have only been 3, I think, promotions up at South Coffeyville, is what I'm told, and that was in June, somewhere back in June. So we need a little more data to get to the bottom of. Sometimes we make a mistake and we try to correct it if we did.
So after the meeting, you want to meet with me?
Sure, you can
Okay.
text me. I just need a name.
Okay. Well, I'm a little hesitant to give up names.
Okay. Well, then I'll get you the information I have, and that'd be as far as we could go without a specific.
Sometimes when you give up names at CMB, it doesn't go well.
No comment.
The Arkansas situation.
Yes, sir.
So I think you mentioned last time that Global something business went to that county that we have an interest in. And who owns Global?
It's Gulfside, and
Gulfside.
there are 2 individuals. Terry Green, I think, is one individual. I don't know the name of the other person. They're out of, I believe it's Gulfside, Mississippi, or somewhere on the coast.
So what has transpired lately?
well, it's a busy place over there. You know, the sentiment of the county was against it. As the, without getting into too much detail, the outgoing quorum court judge issued a letter mid-December that nobody knew about to recommend to the Racing Commission Gulfside. When citizens of Polk County found out about that, they went ballistic. And they formed some groups to protest that. On December 31st at 6:30, the outgoing mayor joined in with the letter and for the same deal to the Racing Commission. And again, the people went ballistic on that. And subsequent to that, there were some lawsuits filed to stop that. There were some rules submitted to the Racing Commission to say that before an application could be accepted by the Racing Commission, that they had to have a letter from the existing quorum court that was in office at the time of the submission or the mayor. So that's kind of where it stands now. The Racing Commission hadn't adopted all their rules. I think February 14th, 15th was the final public comment date. We submitted some comments about the rules they were trying to adopt or going to adopt. And then I think they have until March 28th to get that to the legislature, and then I think June 1st they have to start issuing applications. So I think that's correct. It's something like that. But anyway, it's fast and furious down there. There are many, I say many, there are certainly other casino groups that are interested in that. The market looks good, so there's a lot of interest down there.
So this Gulfside or these other groups, they never spent money or intervened to change the Constitution of Arkansas. We did. We didn't get a, what should we call it, an exclusive?
Yeah, there's no exclusive in Arkansas other than the 2 tracks.
But these other companies, did they join in or help us with the bill? Or?
I don't know what their involvement was. I do know they gave like $10,000 to the people that we were working with, but beyond that, in other ways, I have no idea or no way of knowing that.
The recruiting of docs that you guys do, I mentioned this to at least 2 health directors in a row, and they both told me they didn't want to get involved with that. You know why they would not want you guys to help us find a doc?
No, sir. I don't.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Sean? Okay,
Thank you.
keep up the good work. Appreciate you. Okay, brings us to our treasurer, Lacey Horn.
Good afternoon, Tribal Council.
Hello.
Welcome, Councilor Duncan. Thank you. All right. Well, I know I report every month on auditors, but clean audits are a hallmark of the Cherokee Nation, and this year will be no exception. So we've got them crawling all over us right now, making sure that our financial statements are intact. So that is on schedule to be released to the Tribal Council at the end of March, as usual. We survived the 35-day government shutdown without a hiccup, without any issues with payroll, with employment, with service level reductions, and I really want to thank the staff in finance. It really took the effort of all of the directors there to have an understanding of what our cash balances were, to create data reports that were very important for administration to be able to make decisions and to understand where it was that we were. And I'm very grateful to say that we weathered that storm flawlessly.
Yeah, go ahead and have your staff stand for us because you've got quite a few here today.
So Cliff and Connie.
Go ahead and
Jamie
tell
Clark,
Ron to stand.
Stand up, please.
Go ahead and tell Ron
And,
to stand, David. Go ahead and get Ron to stand.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the rest of them, but Chrissy Moore, one of our analysts, and then June Butler, Rebecca Mitchell, and Tanya Johnson. We're also furiously, while the government is open right now, processing drawdown requests of our federal agencies trying to extract as much of cash as we're owed as possible. So they've also taken in an extra step as the government shutdown has ended, looking to the future. So anyway, thank you to all the staff. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank Amy Sams and Rick Kelly in Health. They did an excellent job. And we were actually poised to be there for the Indian Health Service to help support them making their payroll too. So, we're in a fortunate situation where we were just trying to make sure that our citizens were getting taken care of at every level here at Cherokee Nation. We have completed a RFP for investment advisory services for the Sovereign Wealth Fund. So I'm very excited to introduce to you our investment advisors. They're here today. And with Chairwoman Taylor's permission, I'd like to ask them to stand. So in the audience here, we have Mike Condon and Nicola DeRosa. They're here with FEG. They're a firm out of Cincinnati, Ohio. They're a national firm. They do huge clients, and so we're very lucky as being a baby fund. And if you want to review the Sovereign Wealth Fund's financials, it's on page 11 after tab 1 to sort of understand, what our cash balances are there. And we're looking at building an investment strategy that we will lay in over a period of time to get this fund up and invested for growth purposes, Councilor Lay. So we're very excited to have them here, and so I don't know if you'd like for them just to say hello or anything. I know Mike, he has an extensive background with college endowments, and that's they have to invest pretty aggressively, Councilor Warner, I'm sure you know, to cover operational fees as well as keep up with inflation as well. So he's familiar with the type of approach that we want to have, as well as he has experience with another Indian tribe, a fellow Oklahoma tribe here as well. So he's got a breadth of experience that is going to be perfect fit for us.
Okay. Thank you for being here. Welcome to Cherokee Nation. Do you have something to say?
We're honored and excited about the opportunity to work.
Good to have them here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And with that, I'll be happy to take any questions that you may have for me.
Councilor Walkenstick?
During a government shutdown, did we make payroll to some of the IHS employees?
We did not. So there's MOAs and there's IPAs, and I wish I could tell you the difference. Amy Sams were here. I know she could tell you the difference. But we were poised and ready to be able to assist the IHS with making payroll to those MOA IPAs that serve at Hastings.
Okay. I was visiting with Ann tonight, and we were talking about the different programs that we talked about of assisting these government employees with, zero interest loans and giving them some assistance through human services and so forth. And I was told it was a violation of government ethics. It was an ethics violation with the government. And so, when I hear about, we were going to potentially pay for the IHS employees for their salaries, would that fall underneath the that ethics?
No, it's an apples and oranges comparison there, and I would probably let Anna or someone else speak a little bit more about the loans perspective. I can speak towards the salaries though, but we are invoiced from IHS for those MOA IPA employees' salaries monthly, and so we were going to be paying those salaries anyway. It's an appropriated line item within the Hastings budget. I believe about $20 million annually goes to pay for, there's a couple hundred MOA IPAs there at Hastings. And so those were expenses we were already going to incur. Okay. So it wouldn't be any conflict. That was normal course of business. But it was a question of cash flow and availability and making that cash available to the agency at a period of time where they could not have that cash available from another source.
This council or other tribes, maybe a 5 civilized tribes resolution is to write a letter to the Congress to, when there is a government shutdown, to allow tribes to assist those government tribal citizens, because, you know, I had many phone calls of people, they were hurting in this last pay period when they didn't get paid, and I was receiving numerous phone calls of how the tribe could assist, and unfortunately we couldn't, because supposedly this ethics violation with the government, with IHS, and that's a problem because they're up there battling their political battles, but yet it's affecting people back home, our tribal citizens, and yet we can't help assist those folks when they're in dire need, and they're relying on Cherokee Nation to help them. So if that's true and this is the ethics, we need some attorneys to draft up legislation, 5 civilized tribes, and go to the NCAI and get legislation to remedy that somehow, Speaker. You know,
It would be on the IHS side. The way it was explained at Intertribal was that nothing precluded the tribes from helping them out, giving them the low interest loans. It was their contract that precluded them from accepting it.
Yeah.
So it would be on the IHS side that
And
it would need to be changed.
Yeah, and so if we can remedy that or get an attorney, Talina, get something going, draft some legislation and get some going on NCAI and 5 civilized tribes, because it's going to happen again. Government shutdowns are going to happen, and so I think we need to get in front of the ball here and get proactive, because it's going to happen again. The tribe's not going to be able to help, and our tribal citizens that are government employees are the ones that suffer. So that's all I have. Thank you. Speaker, do you want
Point well taken. BIA employees, did anybody go without pay there? Our Cherokee tribal members?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yep.
Will they get reimbursed
I believe so.
that pay?
Yes.
So really, at Hastings Hospital, let's use that example. I know we have Claire Moore. Hastings Commission Corps, did anybody go without a paycheck?
Not to my knowledge, but
Okay.
I think if we're talking Hastings, I feel much more comfortable if Brian Hale or somebody here who is over that department knows, because I know that there were different categories that those MOA IPAs fell into.
Okay.
And so I'm just going to say that I'm not the most qualified person to answer that question.
Okay, well, we are having NCAI next week. I mean, I'll bring it up for
Straighten 'em out.
discussion. Okay? Thank you.
Counselor Lay, did you have something, or did I
Yes,
just
I
not?
did.
Okay,
Thank you.
good.
Just one or two.
It's written down.
What was the company name again? then?
FEG,
FEG.
Mhm. the acronym for Fund Evaluation Group.
Okay, and how much is in the Sovereign Wealth Fund, just approximately?
Without reporting overlaps, page 11, under tab 1, will tell you right there under Total Sovereign Wealth Fund.
And so, I think a year or so ago, you told us that, and I think I'm hearing it again about you really don't do the health care side of the accounting system.
Right.
Is that correct? And have you looked into I ask you why not. I'm sure there's good reason. Have you looked into at least being at an administrative level, and you may be?
So are you speaking of the Cerner system?
No.
Or the revenue?
The accounting system overall of our healthcare side of business.
Which if you're thinking of the revenue side of health, which runs through the Cerner system, no, I do not have access nor controls within the Cerner system. What I do have insight into is the uploads between Cerner and Lawson that occur, and those occur manually, and Amy Sams processes those.
And so you have some oversight then?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Good.
Oh, you're good. Okay. Anybody else? I thought somebody else had their hand up. Okay.
I want to congratulate you on being featured in the Native American Business magazine there. That speaks well for the tribe and your staff.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
No further questions. We'll move on to Diane Kelly, Career Services.
Let's ask Diane a bunch of questions.
A bunch of answers.
You would, wouldn't you?
Good afternoon.
Hey, Diane.
It's a fantastic day, and it's a fantastic day to be in the Cherokee Nation.
It is, isn't it?
Career Services was very lucky because all of the departments that we worked with, they were still working, and they were still calling us, and they were still working. So we were very appreciative of that. I just would like to say congratulations to our new Madam Secretary of the Council and Chairman of our committee. And also to Mr. Adair County, Kanan Duncan, our new council member. I know you're not my council member, but I'm still proud of you. We were very fortunate this morning. As I was coming in, Deborah called me and she said, "Don, have you looked at your emails?" And I said, "No, is it a bad one?" She said, "It's not from administration." No, just kidding. This one was from the Department of Labor. You know, I told you that we were waiting to hear on our opioid grant. We got it.
Oh, wow.
They told us that it's going to be about $1,998,000. But when I called Frank, I said, "We asked for 5. Is this just partial, and they're going to give us the rest of it? It's over a 2-year period." He said, "Don, you're probably right." He said, "Let me check into it." So they're doing things different within DOL. They're not giving you the full amount. They're prorating it out over the course of time in case they need it, I guess, to pull it back. I don't know. But anyway, he told me he was going to check into it. So it's possible that we may get more once they give us the actual award letter. So we're excited. Staff were jumping up in joy and turning cartwheels this morning. And I've got to introduce 2 staff that came. One came back from his training that he's got going on in West Salem Springs, and I told him to be real careful because he had to come down Highway 10. He said, "Don, I live up there. I drive that highway all the time. I can do it backwards and forwards." So I'd like to introduce to you Matt Lamont, and Matt is from Kansas, Oklahoma, Mr. Delaware County. And he worked at our Cherokee Nation businesses for a number of years, went back to college, got his degree. He came to work for Darrell Legg in the reentry program. And when Darrell decided to leave and run for political office, well, Matt was the automatic one that we wanted to move up. And he took over and just ran with it. And he's put this training together that we have to do for the Justice Department because his grant's through that. And he's doing an exceptional job for the length of time that he's been in it. And I hope I don't have to write him up later on down the road for saying that, but he is doing an exceptional job. And I appreciate Matt being here. And he has, let me see, I think he's got some handouts that he'll give out to Gail that'll get to you about the reentry and where all his staff are working because he's got it divided up by different areas. And the other person I want to introduce is Jordan Holderby. Jordan is one of our new job developers. He was hired to work in Tulsa, but he's actually from Cherokee County. And so Josh said, "I really need him to work both areas." So he's been going all over. He's been going to all of the 14 counties over the last couple of weeks that he's been here because we're still waiting on some of our other staff to clear their process so that they can come on board. So Josh tells me that he thinks he'll have everybody on board by maybe the middle of February. So anyway, I just want to introduce Jordan Holderby to you.
Thank you.
Our TANF program, that's Brenda and John Crenton. We have been going back and forth with Department of, let me think. Department of HHS, okay. We've been going back and forth with the state because they're the ones who come up with our formula. And we had to go to our registration office and get numbers that went back to 1994 because that's when TANF actually went into place, and that's the formula that they're wanting to go by. They didn't expect us to have those numbers. But guess what? Our deputy registrar and our registrar came up with the numbers, and we wooed them. They didn't think we had those numbers. So we set up a meeting with the state people and the TANF person who works for the state today, And it was a really good meeting. The Creeks were sitting there, and they told what they got. The lady over here told what the data said. So we had all the players there at one table. So they said, we'll go back and look at this, and we'll come back and let you know what we're going to come up with. They first told us to look at zip codes. We did that. Then they said, no, we don't want to go with zip codes. Then we said jurisdictional boundaries. No, we don't want to go with jurisdictional boundaries. So we said, we're still shooting for April 1. So I think they're going to start moving after today. So we're excited. We know that we'll be in 14 counties when that TANF operation gets underway. We're already moving people around. We're moving our offices around. I want to thank Steve Jones and George Long. There was some furniture that we had at the old Sam Hyder Clinic that was not moved when they moved over to the new facility, and we've been working on a project up there, and we found out that we could get that furniture, and George said, you take it, I don't want to move it. So guess what? Deborah Lack and Brad and them have worked 2 days trying to get that moved, and we've moved it, and some of it is not in good condition, but it's a desk and it's a place to work, and we were just very fortunate to get it, and we appreciate them helping us out. With that said, Jeff Vance, who's over summer youth, Jeff's got flyers. I'll give these to Gail. That'll tell you when summer youth is starting. It's starting in February, and it'll go up through April. And, you know, that's one of our big programs. Jeff and George Roach. Sorry, George Long. George Roach over vocational. Those are my 2 seasoned directors. Them and their staff are moving up to the old Tarot building at Southgate. We are busting out at the seams with these new programs. We don't have a place for them to go. And it was our decision that the newbies needed to be down here where they could work with finance and work with our contracts and work with our administrative staff. So that way we can keep an eye on it and we don't have any audit problems, because Lacey doesn't like audit problems and we don't either. So we're going to keep them at arm's length, and they'll be down here, and Jeff and George will be working up there. And then, of course, you know, the annex is up where Tarot and Job Corps Academy is. So we're kind of spread out. And we will do an open house when we get everything settled, and we'll let you know. When TANF comes into play, we'll be looking for some more space. So we're growing, and that's great because that means more services out into the Cherokee Nation, and it will allow us to expand into other areas that we haven't been in. So we're excited, and the staff are as well.
Hey, Diane. Hey, next, Mr. Adair County pageant you have, invite me, all right? I guess Kanan's got the title.
You think you can take
No.
Well, he's the newbie.
Ah,
You're
yeah,
the
okay.
oldie but goodie.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm proud to have him. Hey, I want to thank you for letting Matt Lamont come to a little assembly I had with, I didn't have it. It was going on.
At the high
so,
school?
Yeah, it wasn't my deal. But you allowed Matt to come, and Mr. Etheridge is back there. Appreciate you all coming. Oh, Matt, now, he's got a heart for the people. I've got to visit with him.
Yes, he does.
And so, appreciate you, Matthew. Thank you for letting me come.
With that said, I would like to say I appreciate all you council members. We get calls from Mike, Victoria, Keith. You all are always telling us about events that are going on out there that might be pertinent to one of our programs. And my staff have made some really good linkages, and it has paid off for them in the long run. And a lot of times you're there and you live in that area and you're there and you see these things, and we just appreciate y'all thinking about us.
And if you happen to have a staff member there, we'll grab them and hook them up right there at the event, and they're always happy to talk to whomever needs the help. So.
With these new grants, it's allowing us to have some of our management team that live in some of those areas, so they can work in those areas at least a couple of days a week. They don't have to come in here to Tahlequah. And with our technology capability, we can do a lot of video conferencing now that they don't have to run in here to Tahlequah every time we need to have a meeting. So it's working out very well.
Real quick, I got to mention Joe Crittenden, deputy, he came as well, and Lisa Pivick sent someone. So Mr. Etheridge and your group. So I'm appreciative of all those folks. Thank you.
I know that Sean talked about Nukes that's coming to the plaza. Hunter and Travis Gully and them have been working very closely with Nukes. They did a couple of recruitment fairs, and I know Sean was talking to you about his area, helping to try to recruit health clinicians from the outlying areas. We're going to be doing some recruitment fairs in the 14 counties, 2 per week from February up through about the second week of February up through May. And Sean and his staff are working with us for locations, and we've contacted all the VOTECs and some of the health clinics. Steve Jones' staff have been excellent to work with, and they're opening up their venues to allow us to go in there. So we'll be getting out flyers. You'll see some things coming out in this next week when we get everybody on board. We've got our Claremore, Tulsa, Pryor, Jay, Stillwell, and Salisaw offices. We are looking for furniture, and we're expanding those offices right now. We have got staff that are going out there. We're going upstairs in Sequoia County. We're changing some offices around in Stillwell. We're taking out a classroom at Jay to make it some offices. We're going into the garage area at Claremore. Gary Cooper said we could take that garage area, so we're going to put some offices in up there to make do. We're doing the same thing in Tulsa. Sean and Chuck have been very helpful in Pryor and Tulsa for helping us with our expansion. So you're going to see a lot of things coming about for career services here in the next few months. And we just appreciate all of the support that we get from administration, Lacey's group, and contracts. So we'll keep going after grants and expanding our services as much as we can.
Councilor Hatfield.
Forgive me for not knowing, but is Talking Leaves nationwide? That Job Corps, is that nationwide?
Job Corps is nationwide, yes, and it's been around since the 60s.
Okay,
it was signed into law by President Lyndon Johnson.
But your program, your specific, like our it is, okay.
I have Job Corps, yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I got lots of programs, but they're all employment and job programs. That's our emphasis.
Well, I was thinking, like, as Mary and I attend at-large meetings, I don't know, do you ever send anybody to those? I know, like throughout the U.S., like information.
I would be happy
or to give us information.
Yeah, I'd be happy to put together some packets that you all could give out. It would be too expensive for us to do all the traveling that you all do for those at-large. But if there is a venue that you think that there'd be a lot of people at, that we might be able to get some people there, we'd be happy to send somebody. If I couldn't do it.
Ask for travel funds. Put it in your budget, right?
Well, my problem is, most of our grants are in the 14 counties, and we have a workstation in Oklahoma City and Tulsa, and they like for us to stay within that state.
I understand. Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay. If nobody else wants to chew on her, we'll let her get back to work. Appreciate you, Diane.
Well, I just appreciate getting to tell y'all about all our good news. Thank you.
Good report, Diane.
Thanks.
Hey, Anna was here earlier, but she had to leave, but Shay is here. I'm sure she's either gearing up or already started tax returns, and
They are starting next week, first week in February, tax returns start. So thank you for having me today. You have a copy of our report, but I also just wanted to mention, I'm sure Anna spoke to you all about a grant we received from the USDA a couple of months ago to provide some technical assistance to entrepreneurs. One of the things we're really happy to be able to do with that grant, something we've never been able to do before, is to offer some estate planning to entrepreneurs as it relates to their business, the perpetuation of their business, and what would happen should that individual become incapacitated or pass away. So that'll be rolled out probably in the summer sometime. We're really, again, excited to offer that. It's something that's desperately needed, unfortunately. And then we also, as a part of that grant, have been able to offer some social media coaching, one-on-one technical assistance to entrepreneurs. Jill Taylor is providing that. She's going to places of businesses, meeting with people in their communities. And so if you have any entrepreneurs who are interested in that, who need those kind of basic skills, we're not doing anything, we're not video editing or anything like that. But if someone needs some help with social media, Jill will be happy to meet with them and just refer them to her. So.
any other questions for Shay? All right. Seeing none, appreciate you. And, appreciate you being here. Well, Shay, would you, as you walk out, would you ask Secretary of State if he could come in, please? He's out in our lobby there. I had asked Secretary of State to do an update. They went to the state capitol this week or last week, I forget which one it was, and met with the freshman legislator that was coming in. This is a, go ahead and come up if you would, Secretary. This is kind of a pivotal time because we've got an alarming number of new people, a change in administration at the top, and I want to hear that you're getting ahead of the curve, getting in there, letting these freshman senators and legislators know what the Indian tribes do, what our role is. Can you just speak a little bit to how your conversation went, what your plans are going forward? Keep it brief.
Sure, I can do that. We are engaged with the legislators, as we are all the time, but particularly in this sensitive time where we have new members and a new governor. We have Cherokee Day at the Capitol scheduled for February the 20th. That's been communicated over to council. That's an important time to engage with these new members. Members of our team have met with the governor's staff and his chief of staff. Attorney General Hembry's on the Native American Task Force. That's an opportunity. I lose track of time, but I believe it was earlier this week. I was in Oklahoma City for a panel on tribal impact. Councilor Lay, I believe, was there, and that just gave us an opportunity to interact with some of these members of the legislature, to talk to them about the tribes, what they do. Many of them, as you can imagine, are very new to what the tribal impact is and how we operate, so it's important to get ahead of that. And certainly all of you in your own districts, the relationships that you've built have been important. I mean, Councilor Taylor, last year when we pushed the housing bill, you had a relationship with your member of the legislature. Councilor Austin, I know, has been engaged with his new state rep. So anyway, we're doing those sorts of things, but February 20th would be a wonderful time for the council to get engaged on the subject. And I think the 26th of February, we're co-sponsoring a reception for members of the House and the Senate with the Chickasaw Nation to further talk about our issues. So there's those opportunities that come up, and that February 26th date will be communicated to you all. But I appreciate it, Madam Chair.
I think it's important that we get out ahead of it because I think a lot of legislators sit around and think, well, if the tribes would step up and do this and do that, and what was it Jamie said, $1.5 billion that we've contributed through our gaming compacts, and they need to be made aware that we are doing our part.
Absolutely.
Mary?
Yes, I was going to just ask, I know both are important, but if you could only make one, which would you prefer to see us at? I mean, I was there last year. I just want to know.
Well, I think Cherokee Day is an important time because we have a lot of attention on us because we have our booth set up there in the rotunda, and then we've identified our issues that we want to talk about members with, and so that's an opportunity to help out with that. So if you have to choose one, I would recommend that one.
Hopefully we'll all make effort, both of them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have they selected, I think I heard a name for the governor's Native American liaison?
Lisa Billy, yes.
Okay, Chickasaw.
Can they go to Cherokee?
No, she's Chickasaw. She's the one that's on the screen that presents the history. She will be good. She's a graduate.
And you know her, Mr. Speaker, and we all probably have interacted with her on a number of issues. So we already have a good relationship with the governor's Native American cabinet level person.
Good work.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's all
Thank
I
you,
wanted.
Madam
Thank
Chair.
you for
Appreciate
sticking
it.
around. Okay, we're moving on to our consent items. The tarot certifications are in your book. And
need a motion.
I do need a motion. Somebody help Councilor Vasquez out. Motion and a second on the tarot certifications. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Okay, you got a new community assistance list. Everybody check your stuff. If there's any additions, Jody will take them now.
Jody's all right.
I got one.
Okay, wait a minute. Walking sticks first.
Thank you. Hey, Joey, ready?
Yeah.
$1,500 split between District 1, 2, and 3 for Tahlequah High School, Save a Senior Night, and also $1,000 to Dry Creek Community Buildings.
And that one's just you?
That's just District 3.
Okay.
All right, Councilor Crittenden.
All right, Jody, I need 2,000 Jeremiah Foundation, 29 Foundation, and 1,300 to Fairfield Baptist Church.
Fairfield.
Thank you.
Okay.
Counselor Dobbins has one.
Jody, Oak Grove Baptist, 1,000.
Okay.
At the Cross Church, 2,000. Connors Development Foundation, 1,000.
$1,000.
Counselor Hatfield has one.
Oh, I found it. It was to the University of Central Oklahoma Indian Youth Career Day, but I found it. Thank
You're
you.
good.
Thank you.
Counselor Bakershaw.
Yes, I need $500 scholarship checks to every official at-large Cherokee group.
Jody, that would be for me as well.
Okay. 500 each from each of you. Okay.
Is that all?
Hey, 500 Keys High School as well.
If I don't have any in mind, Jody, just make that 1,500 between those two, okay?
You want to split?
If I don't have any in
Just
mind.
good.
I was trying to pull fast one of someone.
Okay, let's vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? There were some additions to the law enforcement funds. Take a look at it, be sure you got what you want.
We've got a couple more to add to
Okay.
law enforcement as well for Councilor Anglin, Tulsa County Sheriff, 6,000, and Tulsa Police Department, 6,000.
All right, and Counselor Vasquez.
Question, Jody, is that, my law enforcement, 14,500, City of Benita, is that for the fire department? I can't find my paperwork on my email.
City of Veneta, is that what she said? We'll double check, make sure it's,
Pretty sure it was, thank you. Thank you.
I think Counselor Dobbins had something to add.
Fort Gibson Police, 10,000.
You need to do that. You need to get that hitting cage approved.
okay.
Muskogee County Sheriff, 10,000.
Hey, Greg. You've seen the renderings.
That's good.
Question is the location.
Okay,
Warner Police, 10,000.
It's not on the slab, and we get close.
Forum Police, 10,000.
It's good.
what about,
Let's make it good the first time.
Okay, Warner.
Yes, ma'am. Jody, I need to do 2,500 to Sequoia County Sheriff. And then, EO, are you doing the same?
Yes.
so 2,500 each?
Yes, sir.
I like the way you counsel them.
Everybody else good? Okay, let's vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Cool. Okay, I see Michael Lynn back there. Oh, wait just a minute. Let's do sports teams and livestock. Were there any changes there, Jody? I forget.
There is an update. She handed out.
Yeah. Got it.
Okay, we'll do sports teams first. Take a look at the new sheet, see if you like it, and then let's vote. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Nope. Okay, now let's look at livestock. Probably need a motion. Do I need to go back and get a motion on this? Yes. Okay, back up. We passed the sports team without a motion and a second. Somebody give me a motion and a second on the sports team. Motion and a second on sports team. All those in favor? All those opposed? All right, somebody else give me a motion, or same people, livestock. Thanks, Rex. Can I have a second? Motion and a second on the livestock. All those in favor? Any opposition? Cool. Okay. Now, Michael, come on up. We'll talk roads.
See, need something? I mean, I usually do the roads too.
Oh.
So.
We'll just hate for him to make a wasted trip. Okay. Has everybody looked at their roads, and do you like them?
I will note that the motor vehicle tax money is in the report this month, but you technically won't be able to spend it until after the council meeting in February. Same with the law enforcement funds that you guys were spending, that we won't be able to issue the checks until February after the council meeting. So.
Give me a motion, roads. Can I have a second?
Second.
Motion and second on the roads. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, there's no old business, but Councilor Baker Shaw, you want to take number one?
Sure do. Yes, it's a resolution authorizing Cherokee Nation W.W. Hastings Hospital to donate surplus equipment to the Northeastern Health System in Cherokee County, and I make that a form of motion.
Second.
Got a motion and a second for the donation. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Councilor Jordan, would you introduce that next?
Yes. An act amending Legislative Act 21-18 authorizing the comprehensive capital budget for fiscal year 2019, Mod 2, and declaring an emergency. Can I put that in the form of a motion?
Second.
Got a motion and a second on the capital budget. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Councilor Austin, did you do the operating budget?
Yes, this is an act amending Legislative Act 22-18, authorizing the comprehensive operating budget for fiscal year 2019, Mod 4, and declaring an emergency, and I put that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Got a motion and a second on the operating budget. All those in favor? Any opposition? Are there any announcements?
Next meeting.
Next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, February 28th at 3 p.m. Take a motion to adjourn. Second. All those in favor? You are adjourned.